Hello, and yes, I am back. There was kind of a drought of content in a few days period. That's because I've been working on a lot of different projects, both personally and for the channel. So keep a heads up, those projects will be happening. Not soon, but maybe in a while. But it'll be a lot of fun just kind of developing those projects, seeing what happens. But today is the day I'm coming back, at least for a little bit, because there was a lot more news. So we're just going to start off with another park that I really like, Silver Dollar City. They're teasing an announcement for February 13th, which a lot of people are thinking it might be a Fire in the Hole 2.0. Which, if you don't know, Fire in the Hole is like an indoor dark ride, but it also has some roller coaster spot. It's just like a water ride, so it's a really fun ride, and I liked it. It's one of the first rides I ever rode, so it's kind of nostalgic in that purpose. But I really like Fire in the Hole, and I'm really interested to see what a 2.0 version of this ride would be. That's what some people are thinking it would be, but I'm not totally sure. Next thing, Galaxyland declares that Mindbender is done. And I'm not totally sure what Mindbender is. I'll look it up right now. But pretty much, hearing any roller coaster... Oh, it's this one, yeah. Mindbender, it's kind of sad that this one's done. I remember now, it's like it's the big looping coaster inside of a mall. It was, if you remember, the one that had like all the different things like that. So if I can describe it best, it has a lot of loops. It may be the most loops on, no, the Smiler is, but it's a lot of different loops on an indoor coaster. It looks really cool. It's West Edmonton Mall. So it's really interesting to see that. Kind of sad that that ride's closing. I heard that it was really rough and a lot of things like that, but still, any roller coaster closing is kind of sad. Universal Studios Hollywood has a city walk, as you know. This is the next thing. But Fossil Watch Store is also closing. So another store closing, but it'll be interesting to kind of see what replaces that, because Universal does a really good job with all the stores and everything that they provide at all their locations. So seeing what replaces that. Dreamworld is now purging all of its Dreamworks theming, and all of the rides that have Dreamworks theming are like getting renamed and all this stuff. So seeing what all the renamed things are, it's gonna be like roller coasters renamed to different things, all that. I'll keep you updated if I see any more information on this. But does that mean they no longer have the Dreamworks license or anything? I'm not totally sure, but it's really interesting to see Dreamworld renaming all of their Dreamworks rides. So that's interesting. But now going to China, OCT, which is kind of like a operator in China, kind of like Cedar Fair, Six Flags, from what I understand. But they're constructing a dinosaur Dreamworks park. Don't know if that's related to the other one purging the Dreamworks theming. I doubt it. But pretty much, it's opening in October of next year. Or no, October of this year. It's 2023 now. But it's really cool to see another roller coaster another theme park have been opened or being opened, and just there's been a lot of new theme park announcements and things like that. But the next one we're going to do, Tussenfried, the Dragon Legend, if you've heard of it, is like a new coaster that they're building, and they reaffirmed that Storm the Dragon Legend is actually the coaster's name. At first it was just like a thing that they were calling it, but now it actually is the name, so it's really interesting. I really like that name. I think it's going to be really cool to kind of see like all the theming on that, how everything is going to look. The next thing we're going to do is Six Flags Fiesta Texas. They received new wheels for the Miss Kitty trains on the Fiesta Texas Railroad. And if I think of that correctly, the Fiesta Texas Railroad, I'm guessing is their kiddie ride. I'm not totally sure. Or no. Sorry. It's their train system. That makes a lot more sense. The Miss Kitty train, I'm guessing that's just like one of their trains. And getting new wheels, that might mean it will run a lot smoother. Another bit of news at Alton Towers. Alton Towers is a theme park in the UK, if you don't know. Alton Towers has a ride called Oblivion, and Oblivion is a roller coaster. So it's really interesting. Apparently Oblivion is having scaffolding and cranes by it, and that means that they're not really doing much with it. I'm guessing it's just off-season maintenance, but it's still interesting to see that ride's getting some maintenance done on it, so that's fun. Wodon in Europa Park is also getting a retracking job. Some more maintenance on that. It'll probably run a lot smoother, and just that's cool. Another news from Europa Park. Hopi Hari is a park, and it reveals Hopi Hari is a park, and it revealed Catapult Shuttle Loop. So that's their new shuttle coaster, or their old shuttle coaster, but they're changing the colors to be blue and pink. So I always like when color themes change. Like Patriot at Worlds of Fun is near me, and it's always been the same colors, but I couldn't even imagine what it would look like if it was totally different because you see it from the like parking lot and all that. But it's just really interesting to see theme park changing like colors of rides and stuff like that. So I think that's really interesting. Next, I'm going to talk about the Bayern Park is getting shuttle coaster track. Bayern Park is a park that is in Germany. Yeah, Bayern Park is a park in Germany. It has a lot of roller coasters and stuff like that. But it's getting new track for their roller coaster. Yeah, Bayern Park is getting their new first shuttle coaster track, and that new shuttle coaster is going to be a Gerstlauer coaster. So it's really interesting to think Gerstlauer does a lot of really good coasters. So it's shuttle coaster, Bayern Park, and it's purple track, which is going to be really cool. Some other bit of news is that SeaWorld San Antonio is setting up the vertical lift tower for the upcoming Catapult Falls, which is a launched log flume coaster. I'm super excited to see how this turns out. I have no idea how they're going to do a launched log flume, if it's going to be on a track and then do a ton of different stuff. Launching one, I have no idea how that's going to work, but there's a lot more hardware that needs to be installed and things like that. But vertical lift tower, I think that's going to be crazy. For the Catapult Falls launched log flume. I have no idea how that'll work, but again, Catapult Falls is just a crazy idea for a roller coaster or a log flume. But yeah, totally excited. More as I see more about that, it's gonna be really cool. But I can't believe that they're having a launched log flume. That's just amazing to me. But the Intamin Surf Rider at Wet n Wild Gold Coast is relocated into Warner Brothers Movie World, which is going to be really cool. It looks like a half-pipe ride, stuff like that, which is really cool. Like a half-pipe and then water stuff. I'm thinking it's going to be like a really cool ride. I like seeing things relocated. But that's, I have some sad news for you. Is Efteling, which was hit by a park-wide power outage, which they had to evacuate several attractions. Power's back on now, everyone's okay, all of that, but again, power outages at theme parks, especially like big ones, and having to evacuate things, that's kind of really sad. At least everyone was okay, things like that, but sad having to evacuate things. That must be pretty scary if you're on a ride and you have to be evacuated. Another kind of sad bit of news is there's an abandoned park in Italy called Miragica, and they finally sold it in auction. And no one's sure if it's going to be like returned or redeveloped or just left there. We don't want another Cedar Fair and Six Flags Worlds of Adventure situation where it's just sitting there in Gaga Lake, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's just hopefully something good happens. Hopefully it returns. I always like seeing old parks return after a while. But yeah. And another bit of big news that just recently came out is Dorney Park may be getting a new ride or even a new roller coaster. Dorney Park has like things planned for 2024. It's not the Gravity Group shuttle that was planned in 2020 because that was scrapped, if you remember. But it's 164 feet tall, and it's really interesting to see. And it's going to be the park officials are seeking approval for it on February 16th at a commission meeting. So that's really interesting. It's covering 196 acres, I don't know the full distance, but 161.67 feet tall is really interesting to see. And if you didn't hear, Magic Kingdom closed Splash Mountain, which is really sad. I love Splash Mountain. It was an absolutely amazing ride. I'm super sad it closed. One of my favorite rides I've done. But they're replacing it with Tiana's River Adventure. And Tiana's River Adventure will be really cool. I'm really excited for that ride to see how it's different from Splash Mountain, if it'll still be really good. And it will be. It's Disney, of course it will. But they're already doing its transformation, and that's really quick. So I'm super excited to see like what the transformation is going to look like, how it's going to be. And two more bits of news for you today. Icon Park, if you remember, the wheel lost power a while ago and people were stuck on it, but they got them off. The Orlando Eye is what this is talking about, and it's still not reopened since it lost power on New Year's Eve. but they have turned the lights back on it, which is really cool. Seeing that they've turned the lights back on, stuff like that. So Orlando Eye has lights on. That's another good step toward it reopening at Icon Park. And finally, the Voltron coaster at Europa Park is gone vertical. First supports have gone up, but that's pretty much all I know. Voltron coaster at Europa Park. It's going to be a pretty cool one. Voltron coaster is pretty much, if I understand correctly, it's like a looping coaster, and it's going to be awesome. It is opening this year in Europa Park, and Europa Park is really good theming. It's like a really good theme park, so super excited to see what Europa Park does with this. But as always, that ends up this day of the Coaster Content Podcast. Hope you enjoyed. If you really did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below, as it really does help the channel. And as always, have a good day and ride safely.